2 years ago, my family had to pull the life support from my son. Um, December 29th of 2012, Corey Stingley was choked to death on videotape, and the district attorney has still failed to issue the charges that should have been issued and still need to be issued. And Khalil was there with us, supporting us, and he still supports us as a family. And our family is here to support him, as well as the others that are here. You know, we hear a lot about injustice, and I've been saying recently, you know, justice wasn't taken from me. Balance was taken from me and my family. And we want that balance restored. And the system and the laws that govern our system need to be brought back into balance so that we can all finally get to a place where we can live together, you know, in the peace and the harmony that the Constitution says we're supposed to, you know, have at our disposal, that's supposed to be provided for all of us. If those things were in place, this brother wouldn't have to be going through this. So the system needs to change.
As recent documented events in Ferguson, Missouri with the police killing of Michael Brown, New York City with the police killing of Eric Gardner. As recent documented events in Ferguson, Missouri with the police killing of Michael Brown, in New York City with the police killing of Eric Gardner, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, recently with the shooting death of Dontre Hamilton has sparked national attention on state-sanctioned police violence against unarmed African Americans by the hands of police officers. The tension that exists between community members and the Milwaukee Police Department continues to fester while government officials and ranking officers of the law have remained in a state of denial and has chosen to remain silent on the state of policing in the city of Milwaukee. The lack of transparency exhibited speaks volumes to the distrust created between community members and those who have been assigned to protect and serve us. But instead of viable solutions to the profound problems in our criminal justice system and improving police practices and community relations, MPD has instead focused their attention on subduing and intimidating protesters and journalists who have refused to remain silent on speaking against racial disparities exhibited within Wisconsin's criminal justice system and the acts of police violence. There will be no business as usual in the city of Milwaukee, where public officials can ignore the problems faced across intersectional lines of race and class. There will be no business as usual until police policies, attitudes, and behaviors reflect that of which those most marginalized are treated as human beings.
Yes, ma'am.
There will be no business as usual until the Milwaukee Police Department can discontinue its egregious acts of violence and violations against black and brown, poor and working class people. Because we, the community, refuse to be silent around the issues of state-sanctioned police violence. We, the community, refuse to be silent around the physical and economic suppression of our community. We refuse to have our issues of our communities go unnoticed, and therefore we will provide the safe zones.
All right.
We refuse to have our voices silenced. We will continue to speak. We refuse to be ignored. We have nothing to lose but our chains.
Absolutely.
What we're doing right now is pretty much what we have right now is intimidation from the police department here in Milwaukee. Pretty much what it is we are fighting a bigger cause. okay? And what they're doing now is attacking us and protesters to silence us. But we will not be quiet, and we will continue to fight, because this is bigger than everyone. And we will continue to fight the cause, and they want us to stop. Since the protesting has started here in District 5, the stops has went from 97 stops per day, and it has dropped to 64 stops per day.
Yeah.
Okay. In District 7, the stops it went from 96 and it has dropped to 54. So what we have is, and the crime has not raised at all. So what has happened, we have noticed that police presence in the community is unneeded. Okay, so what we want to build is safe zones in our community and police ourselves. Okay, and so pretty much what they're doing is they want to stop us from the bigger cause. What they have did is stop us from. They canceled everything as far as arresting. Okay, no problem.
My name is Attorney Verona Swanigan. I am here representing some of the protesters who've been arrested. My office and myself, I am a member of the National Bar Association. We've been diligently preparing legislation throughout this nation that we'll be putting forward in the next coming weeks. And the legislation goes after body cameras, it goes after racial profiling. It specifically targets a system that we believe to be unjust, and we target it in a way where we believe we would be able to equalize some of the justice issues that are at risk right now. The reason I've decided to voluntarily represent the protesters is this. This is America, and no one in America should be stifled from their right to freedom of speech.
That's right.
No one in America should not be able to say when they think they've been done wrong and assert that by peacefully protesting. There's not been a protest in Milwaukee that has turned violent.
Yep.
There has not been a protest in Milwaukee that has turned into businesses being destroyed. And if that is not the case, then they should not be arrested. They should be allowed to state their piece.
That's right. That's right.
And they should be heard, and it should be addressed. And politicians should step forward who are in the position to make a change and actually listen to them, heed their issues, and make a difference.
That's right.
If we are not going to do that, I do not know why you're in office.
It's true.
That's right.
The bottom line is I'm willing to do what other people are not willing to do because I believe it is right. We have a right to the freedom of speech. It is one of the most fundamental American rights that we have. And if we are not going to allow every citizen, black, white, yellow, green, purple, I don't care the color, to assert it, we are no longer American.
Yes. Right.
As Attorney Lena Taylor, I grew up in this city. I practiced law, and I decided to run for office because I wanted to take those skills and talents to the table because the justice system was broken. As Senator Lena Taylor, I have been able to do some work related to the justice system, but I hadn't done in the last 10 years really many, if any, criminal cases. But every so often, there's something that pulls me and pulls at me that requires that I step up and provide my services, as Attorney Swanigan has said, pro bono. There is no question that the fundamental right of freedom of speech is crucial. There is no question that in this city, there has been no protest that has been anything other than peaceful. We need to respect the fact that our system is broken. We lead in the nation in incarceration of African American men. It is because of our policies. It is because of poverty and a lack of opportunity. It is not because Khalil Coleman or any other person is the problem.
That's right.
The problem actually existed before his mama ever thought of him. And because of that, I'm stepping up to say we need to allow the protesters to be able to protest, and frankly, every ticket, every charge should be dismissed because it should have never been done, in my opinion, in the first place. That's right. So because of that, I'm standing with them, and I'm standing with Attorney Swanigan. I'm pulling that law degree out, and putting it to use in the courtroom if necessary for me to go in the courtroom and represent individuals. Because I believe that their right to protest is crucial because we cannot deny that our system is broken.
That's right.
We stand here today, not just at the state level, but we have representatives from the city and the county level who are elected, who are here, who are standing with them. And clearly, this was organized in a very short period of time since notice was not given to Khalil and the rest of them. And look at the number of people who have come out to show support. As a community, people are supportive of their efforts to speak and be a voice. And more than anything, other individuals agree, and we don't want people to be discouraged from coming out and showing their protest against a system that is broken.
That's right.
If anything, it's been broken long before I was even born. But if anything, we should be talking about how do we allow those voices to be heard? How do we hear those voices? And then figure out solutions that move us forward. That's why we're here today.
That's right.
And we're going to continue to be.
Just so you know, I'll state my name, Andre Lee Ellis. I am a community member. Want to just first say that we've already begun to try to do things to mobilize and change the mindset and the way of life for young black males in our community. It's kind of hard to do it when we have people that hate us already waiting to get them for something they haven't done. So with that said, the media that is here today, I've been watching you all on the news. You've not been doing it in our favor. I'm expecting that when I see, and I know all of y'all, I'm expecting that when I see that news today, that you do something in favor of the people. Otherwise, we're going to stop watching y'all TV.
That's right.
All right?
That's
So if you all have any questions, we'll take them at this time. Media questions.
What do you mean by safe zone? What are you going to do in creating
Trying
a
to
safe
create centers in each district, a house or something in each district, so that individuals will be, from a community perspective, be able to provide solutions and be a support of individuals. And aldermen can speak to that because it's part of their plan.
All right. Now look, the people that you see standing behind us have been partners. They've been partners in trying to set up different zones throughout the city in some of our most challenged areas. And then putting forth community-empowered initiatives that would allow for the community to help solve some of their own problems.
That's right.
And so in order to do that, though, we have to be able to recognize that we have partners out there that you have not traditionally partnered with.
That's right.
And so we've already identified certain areas throughout the city that they've helped to identify.
Right.
They've helped to identify these areas. They're working in these areas already. They're not expecting for the city of Milwaukee or the police department to come in and solve all of the issues. But you got to be able to partner in a way that recognizes the value of the people that live there.
That's right.
There you go.
How will people know where those are, though?
We'll
Well,
let you know.
What was the question?
How will we know where those safe zones
We
are?
meaning the news, meaning the community, meaning
Yeah,
what?
how will the community know where they are?
Right.
Some have been identified.
Some have been identified
and as
and
it
been
continues to
communicated.
roll out, you'll be able to know specifically. But the ultimate goal will be every district should not have one, but maybe even multiple places where individuals can go, especially in the areas. For example, there are some areas that more issues exist, and so in those areas there will be a greater need.
Identify yourself. Who are you?
Well, I'm Dr. Stevenson.
Andre Ellis. Okay, well, I just wanted to
I have a
know.
question for all the politicians, both at the local and the state level
We're
today.
public servants, just for clarity.
Thank you for clarifying. Where are your white colleagues today, and where have they been?
Well, some of them.
I have some phone numbers you can call if
Yeah,
you like and ask.
you can call them.
I can't speak for them. Yes.
And some of them have been supportive.
The supposed bogus charges that Khalil is facing and
intimidation factors and things like that, and kind of where we stand right now? Is he turning himself in still at 1 o'clock?
There is no turning in at 1 o'clock. I'll let Attorney Swanigan speak to that issue.
I received a phone call earlier today stating that they would not be requesting for the individuals to turn themselves in.
Just for
today.
clarity, about 30 minutes ago.
Yes, it was about 30 minutes ago. Actually, I don't even think it was 30 minutes ago, about 20 minutes ago. Stating that they would not be requesting for us to turn themselves in today. The reason being is that they wanted to do further investigation as to whether they should press charges or not. So it is not that they have a go home, we're going to give you a loan card. It is that we are going to do further investigation and we'll think about it after the holidays. It is our position that there's nothing to think about.
Amen.
There's nothing to think about when it comes to someone asserting their rights.
Right.
That's right.
Now, if you can show me some evidence that they actually committed a crime, then fine. Maybe we can talk about it. But until then, if all he's done is assert his rights to freedom of speech, if all he's done is peacefully made people aware of his frustration in life that all black men and women are facing on a daily basis, then I see no crime.
Right.
There should be no charges pressed, and Chisholm, along with every other person in office right now, and the city attorney, should be saying that these protesters should be left alone.
Right.
That's right.
Can you talk a little bit more about those charges, and do you guys?
There are no
The
charges.
truth of the matter is, first of all, there are no charges. The issue was for them to turn themselves in, for them to be processed while they continue to investigate, have a time with the DA for the DA to determine whether or not they be charges. So that now
And we know how
is
long
not
that can
happening.
take.
So
Over
the
the holidays,
issue that is a greater issue is if protesters have been peaceful. And if there is a real issue that exists in our system, and if the only way that people have been heard is through the protest, why then must we punish the protesters? That is the issue that really we need to get to the root of. And what do we do to create communication system so that people don't have to protest
Right.
in order to be heard? That is the real issue. That's a systemic issue that exists in Milwaukee, and maybe even greater than Milwaukee, the state of Wisconsin, of whether or not we actually include, for example, in Milwaukee, the majority of people who make up the city in the decisions. You know, we're very much a majority community of color, but we do not have people of color in the positions of power that make the decisions, whether it's the city attorney, whether it's the district attorney, whether it's the mayor, whether it's the comptroller, the list goes on.
Right.
So this is really basically about whether or not peaceful protests should be prosecuted. And if there's 150 people out here, how do you choose?
Right.
How do you choose who you actually are going to choose to pick on or, prosecute?
How many protesters are under investigation? Is there any specific thing that they're under investigation for?
Of the 100+ people that were out on 27th and Burleigh, we think, because there is no
Because there was
discovery
no media.
and there is no clarity of that. So of the 100 and something people right now we were aware of, at first we were told 3, but then today we were told 2. So candidly, there is not clarity on why, what they are accused of, other than disorderly conduct was
Or if there's
mentioned.
any probable cause.
There's not enough clarity.
Wow.
Any other questions?
Can we have you say and spell your name for us, please?
My name is Verona Swanigan. It's V-E-R-O-N-A. Last name is S-W-A-N-I, G as in George, A-N.
And you are an attorney,
I'm an attorney licensed in 5 states and a member of the National Bar Association,
including Wisconsin.
including Wisconsin.
What did the police department say when you asked them this question?
Right.
And the other person that spoke was Alderman Hamilton.
My name is Angela Jones. That's A-N-G-E-L-A. Jones, J-O-N-E-S.
My name is Amaricus Levine, A-M-E-R-I-K-U-S, L-U-V as in Victor, E-N-E.
And I'm Alderman Hamilton. Ashanti Hamilton, A-S-H-A-N-T-I, Hamilton, H-A-M-I-L-T-O-N.
Thank you.
Oh. Andre Lee Ellis, ANDRELEEELLIS. Where are your black colleagues?
Oh, you work for Fox. You don't
That's a great question.
Well, you asked it.
I know, and I invite the question.
Any other
I
questions?
mean, that's part of the problem.
think
is
thank
that
you for
when
coming.
the media shows up, what they show up for. That's part of the problem right there. Right.
Mr. Ellis. Real Farage.
I don't do outside. Once
No,
I'm done,
I know,
once
I
we're
just-
done.